So the main reason I do want to make this video is not to spoil it. I don't want to really spoil anything, but to mostly share my thoughts with you about Attack on Titan part 3, part 1, I guess. I know it was released probably yesterday, but I had to deal with certain things, so I couldn't really put out a video yesterday, so I had to wait until this morning. But anyways, I really like the Attack on Titan, or how they handle, the cycle of hatred. Like, I think the thing that makes Attack on Titan, the franchise, so popular, because Eren isn't necessarily wrong here. He, in my eyes, is not really wrong. I think, what he's doing is obviously, bad, killing millions of innocent people, pretty much mass genocide, all to protect his friend, which I think is a noble cause, to protect the ones you love. And the fact that he's willing to go, so far as to murder tons and tons of innocent people that weren't even a part of the problem. I just think that that whale pretty much, that he has the inner strength to do that. Not that it's right what he's doing, but I admire the aspect that he has the mental fortitude to go through with his euthanization plan. And I think that's what's gonna make one of this, or Attack on Titan part 2 and part 1, really sad, because we've been with this show for so long. I believe it's been like a decade since that we have Attack on Titan. We basically almost grew up with it since season 1 and everything. And just to see it all go away probably in mid-October, like I said. Part 2 is set to come out in October. So just to know that in a couple months, Attack on Titan as a franchise, the anime show will be will be concluded, I think is a pretty sad thing, because like I said, we did grow up on it, and like I mentioned before, the thing that makes Attack on Titan so one of the most watched anime, especially in the West, because what Eren's doing is not necessarily right, but it's not wrong either. We've seen a bunch of anime shows tackle the idea of stopping the cycle of hatred, like Naruto, I believe. Naruto is my biggest example, and there's probably other, but Naruto's the big one, the main one that focused on it. So, I mean, just to see it go, it will be sad for many, especially me, because my generation mostly grew up on that. And the fact that, another big anime show is gonna end soon, pretty much has ended, but we already have confirmation that he plans to end it somewhere this year. And that is My Hero Academia. Sure, we have season 6 and everything, but if you heard Hirokoshi, the author of My Hero Academia, he announced that hopefully this year or next year he'll try to end the manga. And so that means eventually the anime will come to an end, and I think that's just sad, because like I said, we grew up on this show. My generation grew up on these shows, and just to see them go is it's like losing a part of your childhood. And I don't think a lot of people will like that, but back to Attack on Titan. Like I said, everything with the cycle of hatred, I think is pretty cool. Like I said, I do admire Eren's, his willingness to go ahead with the decision. And the one thing that I love at Attack on Titan is that you can see Eren is very bothered. Like, his euthanization plan wasn't his first plan. Like, it wasn't his, like, oh, let's just do that immediately. Like, no, he wanted to talk things out. Like, he wanted to like, pretty much the euthanization plan was a last resort for him, and he was pushed against his will, Eren. And so I think a lot of people have to look at it like that. Like, he was pushed to make that decision for pretty much for himself, because in his mind, I'm pretty sure that's what he believes is the right thing to do in his eyes, where he stands. And I just really admire that willingness, because I don't know, I just feel like a lot of people won't have that willingness to go through with that plan. And I just really, admire Eren for that. And, obviously he's the bad guy in this situation, but the other way I look at it is that, his innocence kind of a hero, because he at the end of the day, he did bring Eldians and Marlins, together to fight a common enemy, which was him. So pretty much he became the big bad villain that, everyone will unite, take Eren down, and probably Eren knew this, and, he hoped that probably after they took him down that they would, forget the past, the island devils, they will forget that, stop the discrimination, and, just work together, and, as fellow humans, just working together. And I think that's what Eren's main goal was, to become the big bad villain and unite everyone so they can have, a common enemy, so to speak. Like I said, I really admire Eren for that decision. It probably wasn't an easy one. And we saw, during the last part of the 4th season, season 4 part 2, it wasn't necessarily an easy choice. Like, he had to go through so much, and I just really admire Eren for that, and his willingness to go through this with this plan. But I think I'm just gonna end there. Like I said, it was a pretty good show, and if you're watching the video for this long, some things I want to point out. So apparently I was wrong about the whole 3 episodes. They only put it in 1 episode, so I'm sorry about that. And probably the next one, we kind of have confirmation that instead of the next part will be, episodes, it'll be just, another hour special, I'm guessing, or something very similar to that. And I just wanted to let you guys know that for the second part, we are getting another hour long episode like this one. And I just want to let you guys know my thoughts and opinions on Attack on Titan and what I saw. One thing I would be worried about while I watched it was the use of CGI. Now, maybe because I personally don't like CGI unless it's done fairly good, but just regarding Attack on Titan, I would just worry about the use of CGI and how they implement CGI into their anime show. So that would be one thing I would just keep my eye on and see what happens with that. But probably my next Attack on Titan episode will be in October when we get that part 2. But I think I'm just gonna end there. Thank you for listening. Bye. See you next time.